Welcome to the new normal modular distance learning. Hello, my name is Marites Bravo and I will be your teacher in Contemporary Arts from the Regions Module 2. Our topic for this week is all about arts in the Philippines. This module intends you to explore and identify the various art forms in the Philippines, such as visual arts and audiovisual art. Also, at the end of this module, you have to discuss what are the various art forms from the regions. What are the various art forms found in the Philippines? The Philippine contemporary art is divided into three major art forms. These are visual arts, audiovisual arts, and architecture. What is visual art? These are the arts that meet the eye and evoke an emotion through an expression of skill and imagination. Example of this is painting. Here are some examples of paintings made by Filipino artists. The first painting is The Fruit Gatherer by Fernando Amorsolo. Next painting is Isabel in Blue by Benedicto Cabrera. Next painting is The Granadian Arabesque by Jose Hoyer. Another example of visual art is what we call the ethnic arts. This kind of art is influenced by our Southeast Asian neighbors. Example of this are flutes, drums, rain sticks, native guitars and bells which is made of bamboo, twigs, pebbles, animal skins, seeds, and seashells. Example, tumpong. It is a type of Philippine bamboo flute used by the Maguindanaon. Another example is sulibao, a hollow igorot drum topped with pig skin or lizard skin. The basket making or the basketry. It is an ethnic tradition of weaving and one of the functional art of many nations. Pottery is also one of the traditions commonly practiced by Asians. Next is carving, which is very common to Filipino people. Another example of visual art is what we call the folk art. This is basically made by the hands of the common people where the materials are crafted together that the process itself is also an art form. Examples are bahay kubo, weaving, and the boat making. Let's proceed to audiovisual arts, also called as performing arts. The cultural center of the Philippines is considered to be the premier place for performing arts. It has local and international world-class guest artists. One of the examples of the audiovisual art is the music. Example of the music we have is the Signifieta for strings and Cinderella Overture by Nicanor Abelardo. Let's hear them. This is the Signifieta again by Nicanor Abelardo. Next is the Cinderella Overture. Another example of audiovisual art is dance. Filipinos are also fond of dancing. There are many variations of dances, both ceremonial and traditional, that are performed for many different occasions. Example are the Langkabaluwang, which is one performed by male dancers as an angry monkey. Let's watch this. Next is Singkil, one of the oldest dance in the Philippines. It is a noble and difficult dance that is based upon a legend of the Maranao people of Mindanao. Let's watch.
A Singkil, the royal dance of Lanao. This is about folks, a jack in syncopated rhythm through which the princess and her court performs.
The Spanish influence in the Philippines brought about many dances that use Maria Clara dress, an embroidered long-sleeve short made from pineapple fibers for their costumes. Like cariñosa, which means lovable or affectionate. It is a dance that is known all through the Philippines. Another example of audiovisual art is theater. It is a rich performing arts tradition from folk legends passed down through generations to intellectual debates as performance art. Examples of theater are epic poetry. It is considered the highest point of Filipino folk literature and dates back to the pre-colonial period. These epics, usually of romance or adventure, are commonly presented during festivals and gatherings such as weddings, baptism, and wakes. Example is the Biyag ni Lamang. Duplo is a poetic debate presented through a song and dance, which originated from indigenous courtship or cosplays. This ultimately evolved in a formal debate on issues and started to be called balagtasan. Another is Moro-Moro. One of the most popular types of theater in the Philippines was the Moro y Cristianos, which is not surprising for a country that was under Spanish rule for 300 years. Another example is the zarzuela. It is a type of melodrama, usually in three acts, that uses alternately spoken and sung words. It was the Spanish influence that started the zarzuela, but it was also the scolarization that led Filipinos to incorporate nationalistic overtones in the art. Let's proceed to architecture. Philippine architecture responds to the climate, although there are many variations. Generally, the roof of the first Philippine house, nipa hats or bahay kubo. Here are some examples of architectures we have in the Philippines. Of course, we have our bahay kubo, the Manila Cathedral, Philippine Arena, the CCP Building, and the PICC Center. Next, let's proceed to literature. The flowering of the Philippine literature in the various language continues with the appearance of new publications after the martial law years and the resurgence of committed literatures in the 1960s and the 1970s. Filipino writers continued to write poetry, short stories, novellas, novels, and essays, whether these are socially committed, generic, related to personal or intentions, or not. Literary awards we have Don Carlos Palanca Memorial Awards, Philippine Free Press, Philippine Graphic, Home Life and Panorama Literary Awards. These awards encourage the Filipino writers to compete with his peers and hope that his creative efforts will be rewarded in long run. This is the end of our lesson. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, additional ideas, or any suggestion, you can send me a message. Thank you everyone. See you on our next lesson.